Get my notes up. Should I screen share my notes?
If you want to.
Heck yeah.
All right, you guys
get a behind the scenes
peek in
view. I
here.
love it.
Oh, we have tournament snack on the screen. Yeah.
How do you change this color? Color? Nah, I like it this color though.
Loud in my own ears. Why am I so loud in my own ears?
Are you listening to my stream?
No, I have it muted.
All right, let's see here.
Pizza? Is that your notes?
This isn't
Nice.
Mistborn.
Pizza less than parentheses. Alright, did anything go screw? No, I still look fine. Okay, whatever. I am prepared to start whenever everyone else is.
I am prepared to start also.
I'm not. Why are you cropped? Oh, that's the wrong. Words of Radiance, chapter 83. What's up, Omniparable? You're 80 something.
83 to 86.
All right.
Words of residence.
Reticence. That's fine.
Words of radishes.
spelled good enough.
Now, the tricky part is, can you zoom in your screen? Because we cannot see those notes at all. Like, change your capture so the window just zooms in where... Oh, man. New follower from the Discord just dropping in already. So, be aware, this is Dave's Twitch. So, no spoilers in his chat. If I was streaming, that would be fine. But if you want to say anything spoilery, you should use the spoiler discussion channel in Discord.
I mean, really about any of the channels that are explicitly marked as being in spoilers allowed.
Which show?
I'm not, like, policing what gets posted where, as long as
We're not organized enough for that.
Alright, can you guys read it alright?
Look, as long as Dave is kept in the dark, we're all happy.
Joke's on you, I'm gonna turn my webcam on. There we go. What?
I saw Dave.
Time's illusion.
Dave, you look slimmer.
Yeah, well, I'm fucking it in. Speaking of me losing weight, I'm gonna grab a beer.
I don't think those things go together.
That's the joke.
I know.
Oh yeah, and anybody who's on Dave's stream should every minute hit !F to feed the snack.
Must feed snack.
Snack like snacks?
Snack indeed likes snacks.
Boop the snoot.
Snack is currently 53 big. If Sneck ever gets 100 big, Dave will provide a gift sub to the community. Other fun commands.
Alright, I'm ready to start whenever.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Cosmere Deep Dive Podcast. I'm your host, Mike. Joining me this week are Craig, Dave,
Hello.
and Tori.
Hello, Internet.
Is Craig
And we
joining us
start-
this week?
Yeah, Craig, are you joining us
Hey,
this
everyone. What? Yes,
I didn't hear him.
I was just introduced.
I didn't hear you respond.
week? Okay. We start every week with good things. So, Craig, if you're here, give us a good thing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, is this thing on? All right.
I don't know.
This
Say something
week-
offensive and I'll tell you if I get mad.
My good thing, which I think is a podcast favorite, but my wife and I just did a rewatch of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show, which is
Nice.
the only thing that exists aside from the comics. It
Wow, it
It
doesn't
is
even
so
acknowledge
good,
Legend of
guys.
Korra.
Well, I'm talking about specifically Last Airbender. That's what we rewatched. We added it to our Plex, and we had to go watch it all, and we did. It goes by so fast. I'm surprised. There's only like 20 episodes each season. There's only 3 seasons. I feel like so much happens though. So it's like they go by so fast, but yet you learn so much. You join Aang and his team Avatar as they do stuff throughout the world, and yeah, you learn so much about the characters and stuff's happening, and it's funny. There's so many funny things. The humor. Honestly, I think the 3rd season's the best only because we have the characters like fully developed by then, so we can like really like use it to our full advantage. But recap episodes in general are really bad, except Avatar: The Last Airbender has the best recap episode in existence, and I forgot how good it was until we rewatched it, and I'm laughing the whole time because it is just so good.
The Fire Island players.
The Ember Island players. It is so good.
Yes.
It is so good. Anyway, if you guys have never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, even if you're older and you're like, that's a kid's show. No.
Hey, this looks like a kid's show.
Well,
You imbeciles.
it is a kids show. That does not mean that it isn't an extremely good kids show.
It is really good. It's about Aang, who happens to be the last Airbender, as it says in the title, and all this
Aang
means
the
is that
Tar.
he's like a bring balance to the Force type person. In this case, the magic is 4 different elements, and he is supposed to bring balance to the world, where there's 4 major nations who happen to be of each element, and they have we'll call them spellcasters of each of those elements, and the Avatar is the one who can do all 4 elements, which is why they bring balance.
But
And
everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yes, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked, and Aang was locked in ice for like 100 years, so they didn't have an Avatar for 100 years. This is all the first episode / opening. No spoilers there, but yeah, it's Aang's a kid, and he happens to be the Avatar, and he has to learn all the bending because he only knows how to work with it. Bending is the spellcasting. He can only spellcast from one of the elements, and he has to learn the other three so he can be an actual Avatar. And stuff happens, and there's humor, and it's pretty funny, and the characters are endearing, and it's really good, guys. I don't even want to get into spoilers, but there's some good stuff I want to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about in the spoiler section. But Dave needs to join us too. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I can join in for the Avatar section of the spoiler section, or we could just make it in the whole. We can make another podcast or do bonus content like we tried to do 5 years ago.
Are we gonna do that?
Well, Mike and I recorded one episode where we did Boy in the Iceberg, but yeah, editing's hard. Well, proper sound setup is hard. Actually, was the bigger issue for me.
Hey, Mike, is editing hard?
Editing sucks. Editing is the worst.
One of the editing, I've done some editing. Like, it's not as bad. The really bad thing was that everything Mike was saying was bleeding from my headset to my microphone, and I've got a noise gate on Discord so that it's not that much of an issue. But when I recorded on Audacity, it was just like everything Mike said was coming through twice, and I didn't really know what to do with it. I'll figure out some kind of workaround.
Are they doing a Netflix live action of Avatar? Oh. Okay, well, it's the first live action thing they're going to do, so it could be good.
So I have a minor theory regarding Avatar that I did actually mention on the 1 or 2 episodes that Dave and I recorded that never went anywhere, which is that Zuko claims to be a firebender, but he's actually a coincidence bender.
Interesting.
Okay.
Go on.
Well, how else does he find Aang, a dude who has been trapped in a glacier for 100 years?
Dude, Zuko's just that good.
It's his destiny.
Because he's a coincidence bender.
His honor was on the line.
All right, Dave.
All right, I'm done, so we can move on.
Dave.
What's my good thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My good thing this week is a band from the 90s, and they are called the Presidents of the United States of America.
Yes.
Are
they the ones who did Lump?
Yeah, they did Lump, Peaches, and a lot of good sounding.
I like Peaches.
Here's the thing. I went back. I listened to their eponymous album this week, and they are really dumb and silly, which you might love. It might put you off a little. I personally think maybe they could have hired a lyricist, but they have a fantastic sound. They sound really good, and they sound so like peak of 90s alternative rock as far as the instruments go and the vocals and everything. Like, really pleasurable to listen to. I liked it a lot. Again, if you really care about having deep, thoughtful, or even sensical lyrics, then that might put you off, but just kind of ignore that if you don't like it, or buy into it if you just really like goofy, silly lyrics, because they got them. The other thing is there were a lot more Italian suppositories in that album that kind of went over my head as a kid. So I guess that's to entice you / warn you if you want to go back and listen to that album. The funny thing is I actually kind of remember going back. Like, it was at a time in my life where I would hear a double entendre and I would be like, that sounds like there might be some kind of other meaning to it, but I'm not sure yet. It was kind of like in that, as Bobby Hill would say, at that age, I would say, I'm starting to get stuff. But
yeah, there are definitely double entendres there.
Sometimes there are triple entendres. Maybe. Nah, their lyrics weren't that clever. But great sound, though.
They weren't really singing about peaches, I tell you.
could have been. They came from a can. Anyway, I think my two favorite Presidents of the United States songs are Mach 5, which is all about Speed Racer's car. And
That's not on that album, so I don't know it.
Really good song. In as much as any of their songs are really good, like the lyrics are dumb and repetitive, but it's fun. And then Kitty, which is singing about his cat who scratches him and he kicks him out.
It reminds me about how sometimes I get irritated by my sister's cat.
It's your cat and you love him.
I really like their version of Video Killed the Radio Star.
Kinks song?
Have I heard that one?
At the Kinks?
I don't know if I've heard that one.
I thought it was on their first album.
I don't think their eponymous album was the first. Wait. Maybe actually that's not. I actually want to look this up because the famous album was the one with Lump and Peaches.
Yeah. I thought that was the album that was the eponymous album.
I thought so too, but now I'm thinking I might be wrong about that.
Hey, now that you guys have said that word like half a dozen times, I realize I don't know what it means.
What?
The album is named after the band.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there you go. And yeah, the famous one is titled "The Presidents of the United States of America," and it does not have Mach 5 or that song. What Tori said, "Video Killed the Radio Star." So I'm along somewhere else. I kind of lost track of them after the first album.
The heck you say? No, I'm so sure it was a hidden track on the CD. I'm so sure.
Oh. It was a single? It was a single, according to this. According to Wikipedia. Why did I think this was a Kinks song?
This is some serious Mandela effect.
It's the secretest song on the album.
It must be. I'm so sure that was the only album of theirs I had.
That reminds me of the the Legend of Zelda song. No, someone did a song, and everyone says it's System of a Down, but it's not System of a Down. I forget who does it, but everyone thinks it's System of a Down because that's what it was titled back in the Napster era.
Napster and LimeWire.
Yeah, they're like System of a Down, Legend of Zelda. It's like they never did this song, but they get credited for it.
Is that the one that Legendary Frog made an animation of?
It's like Link, he comes to town.
Yeah.
Come to save the Princess Zelda or something.
That's not System of a Down?
That is not System of a Down.
I thought that was just some rando on Newgrounds or something.
If you want the song, it's on OC Remix. So you can go listen to it there.
Wow, that would not pass their board of approval in 2021.
Yeah, that's true. It is there. I think it was
grandfathered. If it's on there, it's just grandfathered in. Like they don't remove most of the old songs based on modern standards.
Anyway, we were talking about the presidents of the United States or whatever.
Yeah, but I want to talk about OC Remix now. Sometimes I like to play a little game where I listen to the Rainwave station where they play OC Remix, and I try to guess what year the remix is from. And I'm usually within like a year or two. But anyways, Mike, what's your good thing this week?
My good thing this week is the game Oxygen Not Included. It's been out for a few years.
Did they just have an update?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't followed any of it. I've just been playing it pretty much nonstop for like a week. Yeah, Fruit Bats was playing it, and I saw the stream, and I'm like, this game is exactly the sort of thing that my brain meat likes. So I bought it, and
This is
it is exactly the sort of thing that my brain meat likes.
the exact sort of thing that Fruit Bats would stream.
Yeah, I saw Fruit Bats playing it a lot, so I'm like, is there something that happened and everyone's playing it? Because it's like an easier version of RimWorld. I think he described it. It's the same sort of genre as RimWorld and Dwarf Fortress, but
4X?
no, what?
Colony Sim.
Yeah, Colony Sim.
That's
but it is
different from
it is
4X.
significantly
Okay.
different enough from RimWorld that I'm not like spending the whole time being like, I could just be playing RimWorld and do this better.
So Dave, 4X is explore, expand, exterminate.
Oh, don't you tell. I know what 4X means. You don't need to tell me what 4X means, but thank you for saying for the audience what 4X means.
Don't you worry
no.
about 4X. Let me worry about blank.
4X.
I was going there.
4X is the name of the Australian continent on the Discworld. That's what that is.
So 4X games are world, like you have a civilization
So it's
or something like
3X,
that where you're
there's no
conquering the world.
exterminating.
But a colony sim, you're not really exploring, you're not really exterminating. It's about managing your colony, your kingdom, or whatever it happens to be to survive. And
So
it's usually
it's
very
SimCity.
difficult to survive.
Okay, it's SimCity. Got it.
Except that you will die
no.
eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, well, my nuclear
So
power
it's
plant always
Oregon
blows
Trail.
up. Hey, you can survive
Dave,
Oregon
if you're
Trail.
really curious, Dwarf Fortress is free to play. It has a quite large, steep learning curve, but it is very rewarding once you actually learn how to play.
Oh,
Or alternatively,
so it's
you
like
can
League of
play
Legends, but
RimWorld.
it's rewarding.
Yes.
The learning
Yes.
curve in Dwarf Fortress is a flat wall.
like League of Legends, free to play, steep learning curve, but not rewarding. It's rewarding. Like 1 out of 10 games of League it can still be rewarding.
So the colony sim genre really does like it comes primarily from Dwarf Fortress. Like Dwarf Fortress is the example of this. And they generally come from the thought process of Dwarf Fortress, which is losing is fun. You will lose, you will die many, 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 many times. And winning and surviving and escaping, or whatever the like built-in end condition of whatever the game is rarely the point.
That's funny because
Hey,
I
Mike.
thought Dwarf Fortress was like a tower defense game. I was way off.
Hey, Mike, would you say it's all about the journey before the destination?
Indeed it is.
No.
So my experience with Oxygen Not Included thus far has been every time I started up, I start a new colony. Because the last colony I did something wrong. And then I figured out a way
You're
to
not
do it
supposed
better.
to do something wrong.
And so like I start a new colony so I can get back to like the rough point I was at and then do the thing better. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
This genre, I think, is a very fun genre, and I do recommend, Dave, you check out something in there at some point. If you really are curious about Dwarf Fortress, I have some tutorials you could watch if you actually wanted to learn how to play. But yeah, it's fun.
If you're going to play Dwarf Fortress, for the love of God, get yourself a texture pack. Get something that looks better than vanilla Dwarf Fortress, please, for your own sake and mine.
I need to see like the legacy content.
You don't. You really don't.
Right.
How is he supposed to appreciate it if he doesn't know what he's coming from?
Yeah, that would be like playing Spelunky HD without playing Spelunky Classic. Most
so,
people
Tori, what's
do.
your good thing this week?
I just saw Schindler's List for the first time. I know I am the last person in the world to see this movie, and everybody already knows it's a great movie.
Turn off
But
the
man,
sound
it
effect
was a
of
great
muting
movie.
myself.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
So,
I talk more during the chapter
for those
discussion
of you who,
anyway.
like me, have been living under a rock for the past 30 years and missed it, It's based on a true story about a German businessman who was war profiteering, like he was using the Jews for basically slave labor during World War II, and then at some point he has a change of heart and decides to use his connections to save as many as possible. And it was, I mean, it was terrible because the movie doesn't shy away from what happened to the Jews during the Holocaust. It's very graphic and very scary and borderline horror movie because it's about the Holocaust. And but it was just so moving, and yeah, I feel like a better person for having watched it, and I cried at the end.
Jet tried to blow up the snake.
All right. So Dave, you read, according to the words on your screen or on your stream right now, Words of Radiance, chapters 83 through 6.
Thought it was Words of Residence or whatever.
I fixed part of that, but not. And there we go. That better. All right. Also
886. Wow, you read a lot of chapters.
Each chapter was a single word
of Radiance. Alright, none of this is gonna make any sense outside of the context of the Twitch live stream, so you should probably just, he's not gonna edit it out, guy.
Never done. No. Instead, this is an advertisement to watch us live, either on my channel or Dave's, depending on who's doing what. For all the antics.
Normally, Craig is the one streaming because I guess I could technically just leave the stream running and not watch it for the spoiler section, and then you guys can. I'll just go take a nap or whatever. But normally, Craig's the one doing it, and he handles this way more professionally. Hold on. Oh, you want to see my desktop image, though? Hang on a second.
Now, this is guaranteeing Mike will edit this out.
Yeah, there's my desktop image.
You said that, because then I could just okay, silence and make it go away.
Yo, it's Sazed! He's charging up his Electrum.
Yo, I have Legends of Runeterra. I don't think I've ever played it. Alright.
This is a PSA to clean up your desktop because that thing is messy.
Deja is gonna clean it up. with his Electrum
charges
mines.
Up that static electricity.
What does Electrum store again?
Static electricity. We talked about that.
So there is an energy storage, but really it's more like calories. But that wasn't Electrum though, was it? That titanium. Oh, I thought titanium automaton was gonna.
Electrum stores determination.
This ain't Undertale. All right.
Okay.
All right, Mike, cut in here. This week we're reading chapters 83 through 86 of Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. Chapter 83, Time's Illusion. Time's Illusion.
Time?
Alright, Renarin doesn't have his glasses. Renarin is creepy and whiny. Unlike Kaladin being whiny. One was creepy. But Kaladin's whiny. But Renarin is creepy and whiny. Numahukumaki...
Pattern can get pretty creepy.
Pattern? Okay. Yeah, especially when he walks in on you in the bathtub. Also, we learned something about Pattern in the last chapter. Alright, Numahuku Makiaki Ayalunamore is becoming and cheerful. Prince Renarin, would you kindly slay this rock for me? We'll do one scene at a time for montages, good.
I can see your notes. You don't have Numuhuku Makiaki Ayalunamore fully written out. You just have Numu. N-U-M-U.
Okay.
Craig.
You know, you could also just do rock.
Who's Rock?
Which is what he's
Craig?
told in the book.
using the visual guide of Dave's stream, of Dave's notes, I would like you to attempt to say Numuhuku Makiaki Ialunamore.
I ain't said no. No. Numu. That's all I got. Numu, Huku, Aki.
Oh my
Isla
gosh, he
Lunamore.
screwed it up already. Numuhuku
I'm
Makiaki.
going
Dude,
from
we've
memory.
been this is like this is 2 full books of this
When
guy.
you
You should
guys
know his
say
name
his
by
name,
now.
My brain translates it to rock. I don't try to memorize his full title.
Well, apparently Shallan wants Prince Renarin
The
to kill him.
Boulder.
The Boulder's less conflicted. All right, so
Voiced by
Shallan-
Mick Foley, by the way.
it's he's trying to do like a Randy Savage thing, right?
No, it was
Who's Nick Foley?
No, he's doing
Mick
himself.
Foley.
Who's Mick Jagger? Foley.
No, Mick Foley, professional wrestler. Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mick Foley.
Oh, Rick
Dude's a
Foley.
wrestler.
Okay.
And he voiced the Boulder.
I didn't know that. I thought that it was someone doing a Randy Savage impression, honestly. I'm not that into wrestling, but I know Mike is. So, anyways, Shallan wants Renarin to kill Numuhuku Makiaki Ialunamore. Go figure. She's like, could you kindly slay Rock for me? Alright. Whatever you say, princess. Whatever you say, sister-in-law to be. But no, she's actually, this is like a callback to when she asked Adolin to slay a rock or something. Alright, next scene. Adolin goes inside. The Parshendi singing brings down the house. Eshonai versus Adolin. Montages are hard to keep track of. Yeah.
I like that one. The Bershendi singing brings down the house.
Yeah.
It's good.
I forget what that means. Didn't someone like... Didn't they like cut... Oh, they cut the floor out from underneath them or something. Didn't that something like that happen? Or was that in a Looney Tunes cartoon / Mistborn Era 2? That also happened in Mistborn Era 2.
We've already determined Wayne is Bugs Bunny.
Wayne is
so
Bugs Bunny. Yeah.
Adolin cuts a hole in a wall and comes out Kool-Aid Man style. Plus a lot of murder.
But wait, Kool-Aid...
Adolin cuts a hole in a wall like the Roadrunner.
I don't think the Roadrunner ever cut a hole in the wall. He just manipulated the physics of the holes that the coyote cut. So, if Kool-Aid
Wait a
Man...
minute.
Listen-
Roadrunner manipulates physics, which is clearly a ferrochemical power. So Roadrunner
Or
is
a
a
Windrunner
ferocous.
power. He could be a Windrunner. And his name, Runner is in his name. It's Wind Roadrunner. Dude. Alright. But
What?
Mike also mentioned Kool-Aid Man, and you know what universe Kool-Aid Man is already a part of. That's right, the Marvel universe. So, there you have it. Whatever I'm
But
talking
we
about.
already confirmed that the Marvel Universe was part of the Cosmere.
When did we do that?
This
With
is just more
Snorks?
confirmation, Tori.
It was a while ago.
We have to validate our connections and form more connections. It's always good.
Validate connections.
Capital
Writing
C
diagrams on the wall. Next scene. Dalinar's surgeon orders his stool. Ew. How's the war
Why
going?
would you write that?
I think it was a joke at the time. I think it was one of those 2 a.m.
Yep,
jokes.
leaving that one in.
Sometimes
good.
I write these bullet points at 2 a.m. and what's funny then ain't funny now. But I think
Clearly.
he like... I think he actually was like told him to sit down or something.
Dave,
Yeah.
don't talk yourself out of making a poop joke. Embrace it.
Embrace the poop joke. I mean, we are reading Words of
So
Radiance.
close.
There have already been multiple poop conversations in this book. I think I'm in good company.
Okay, wait. Side note, let me throw another one at you. So yesterday, when we took
What are you,
the
a
dogs
monkey?
to Matt's parents' ranch, Spirit found a fresh cow patty and rolled in it. It was awful. It was all over. Like she was green and
Hi.
brown, and it was terrible. And we had to take her in, and like she and Matt got in the shower. It was that bad. It was so terrible. And Matt was like, "That was gross. I'm never doing that again." And I was like, "It was your idea to take the dogs to the ranch." But anyway,
You said
Was she
Moving
cow
on.
happier than
patty.
she had ever been in her entire life?
Oh, she was so pleased with herself. Spirit was just like she was living her best life. She just had that doggy grin on her face the whole time.
When you say
Amiga
cow
has
patty,
written
you mean like a
something-
hamburger, right?
Yes.
No,
So
no.
Hamija has
the
written
only
something
thing I can
wonderful.
contribute.
Hold on. Before we get too far away from it, Hamija has written something wonderful. I will meep those who cannot meep themselves.
He's a windrunner.
There it is.
Okay,
But mine thinks about poop, guys. I'm bringing it back. The only thing I can contribute is that my daughter thinks the word poopy is hilarious. Okay.
She's right.
Yeah, she's a smart kid.
All right, Dave.
All right. What are we reading? All right. Dalinar Surgeon. Oh yeah, we read that one already. Orders. All right. It is still funny. At 2 p.m. Storm Daddy returns. A daughter disobeys. No more visions, child of honor. So yeah, Stormfather comes back and talks more to Dalinar, and he's like, "Oh, be right back. a daughter is disobeying me." And I'm like, "Come on, is this Sylphrena going back to hang out with Kaladin? Dude, let's go.
Is this the
She's
moment?
not dead. She's gonna go."
Is this the moment you were getting excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, I was like, "Oh man, it's Sylphrena. She's back. She's not dead, just like Yasna."
Okay, Tori, maybe in retrospect you should have killed it here. That would have been so good if we talked about this last week, so Dave could sit there and be like, "What happens?"
I'll keep that in mind in the future.
No, don't.
Yeah, for when we do this again.
Well, once I catch up on Cosmere in 20 years, then we'll have to get a new reader.
And it's true.
Oh my gosh, it could be Ada by then.
Oh man.
You know, I'm in.
Craig will accidentally spoil everything. You know this.
It's
No,
like
real talk though. When she's like 10 or something, I was totally gonna read Skyward, that whole series.
What's going to be funny is most parents have trouble getting their children to read, and Craig's going to have to try to prevent Ada from reading too far ahead in the
If she can read it, she can. Oh yeah, if she's part of the podcast,
if she's the new reader, yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Next chapter scene. All right, so I'm like, oh, is this Sylphrena? Yeah, whatever it is. Okay. No more visions, child of honor. So yep, no more visions for Dalinar. Our father's done with him. All right, final scene of chapter 83, Trail of Blood. I thought that was funny, as evinced by the LOL at the end of that note. And Moash doesn't want Kaladin to back down. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. So, like, you'd be like, aha, Trail of Blood, like, all the people you killed on your wake is normally what that means. But, like, there's literally a Trail of Blood also because Kaladin's been dragging Elokar around. But if you'll recall, Moash and Trevor had some Castlevania name. I forget what
Graves, not
Graves. Okay. I knew he had a Castlevania name, okay? You gotta give me some credit.
I just love
literally
that that's
a Castlevania name.
It's a Castlevania name. That's so good.
Trevor was all I could come up
my
with.
God.
But
This
Graves.
is
Who was
why,
Graves
Dave, you're
from?
such a treat.
That
I
was
just love
Circle of
this.
the Moon. Was that Graves? Like Nathan Graves? Who's Nathan Graves?
Isn't that his like mentor or something?
I think it's Circle of the Moon was Nathan Graves.
Yeah,
But
I think
anyway.
it's Circle the Moon.
It's funny. For most of the time, I was remembering
Hold on, let me
Graves,
check memory also.
Malcolm
Hold on.
Malcolm Graves from League of Legends, and then suddenly my memory just triggered Castlevania at the last second. All right, there's Nathan Graves, I think's his name.
Nathan Graves is the protagonist of Circle of the Moon.
Okay.
Yep.
I recently watched a friend do their first playthrough. All right,
Dude, we are like on so many tangents this episode.
Graves and Moash show up, and they're like, "What you doing with the king there, Kaladin?" That happened at the end of last week's chapters, and Kaladin's like, "I won't back down," and Moash was like, "Oh, if you back down, you wouldn't be Bridge 4." And that's the end of chapter 83. Any questions? Several.
But what about Syl? Is that Syl we're talking about? Dave,
Sylphrena may or may not make an appearance in a future chapter this week.
Okay. Why don't you tell us about chapter 84?
Dude, Kaladin doesn't deserve her. He doesn't even call her by her full beautiful name. I guess he deserves her for
You
like,
move in on Sylphrena there.
I guess he deserves her for what happens in chapter 84. All right, chapter 84, the one who saves. Those sure are some numbers. Great epigraph here. I get it. Lots of numbers. So, fun fact, I did actually, there is a website, possibly multiple websites, where you can search for strings within the number pi. It's irrational, so it continues infinitely, but doesn't repeat. So I was like, oh, let me type this into this website, and like, there's almost a 0% chance of typing in a string of this length and finding it in this website, because this website lazily only has the first 200 million digits of pi. I mean, what a bunch of slackers, am I right?
Yeah.
So this string does not appear in the first 200 million digits of pi, but perhaps it does appear in the last 2 million digits of pi, or 200 million digits of pi. All right.
So you did not experience this epigraph in the way that it was meant to be experienced, which is through the audiobook.
Go on.
Tori, would you like to share with us the audiobook experience? Don't actually read it out loud, just like
No,
tell us
I
about
will
it.
not. So imagine you're listening to an audiobook, maybe on your commute, and you finish a chapter and the new one starts, and here comes Michael Kramer's beautiful voice, and it's just numbers. It is just straight numbers, and this guy just reads them without taking a breath, without pause. It's just number, 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 and you're sitting here, and it takes like 5 minutes, and as you're driving, and you're just listening to this guy read out numbers, and you're like, what is going on? It goes on forever, and seriously, he doesn't take a breath. It's impressive.
That sounds like
Kudos
my
to
idea
him.
of a good time.
He also doesn't like stop halfway through to laugh.
That's impressive, yeah.
Wait.
That's
How
the
many
most
takes?
takes?
Probably the
How
number
many
that he
takes?
read out, that's how many takes it took for him to get it just right.
Oh, I would hope not.
Yeah.
That's too...
Nah, Michael Kramer
yeah.
is.
He could have
he's
just said a
professional.
bunch of numbers and moved on, but no, he read every single number.
I'm sure the numbers have some significance.
Indeed, they do.
That's
you don't
all
get
you're
to know
gonna
what it
get.
is.
Very nice. All right, chapter 84 proper. I hope Renarin didn't break the nether portal. That's a Minecraft thing. He like cuts the wall or something.
As long as he doesn't cut obsidian, he's fine.
Shard Keyblade. Tori, you like that one, huh?
I do.
So there's a little slot on the wall, and Shallan's like, "This looks like a keyhole for a shard blade." Renarin, don't break our chance of survival. Next scene.
So we retcon all of the shard blades into key blades.
Not
moment.
all of them. Not all of them. We'll find out in a minute.
Okay.
Only 10 of them.
Well, okay, hang on. The
Well,
Final
actually, wait, I'm
Fantasy universe
confused.
is already part of the Cosmere. And
Kingdom
so
Hearts,
then by extension,
therefore.
Kingdom Hearts would have to be part of the Cosmere.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Disney and
Disney.
Final Fantasy both are, so that's easy.
Did we make a direct connection to Disney? I forget.
I thought we did.
I thought we
I don't know,
said
check the
Adolin
lore.
was a Disney
Anybody
prince.
swim in
Didn't
gold
we
or
say that?
something? I don't know. Alright, next scene. Ash and I stole Adolin's thrill. Yeah, so I don't know what this thrill thing is, but Adolin ain't getting it, but Ash and I apparently does have it. She like stole it from him. I'm kind of curious, because like, so we have random capital letter words like memory and thrill, and in Shallan's case, we have memory, which makes sense because she's invested, she's a Lost Radiant and all that. But both Dalinar and Adolin experienced this thrill, which appears to be some sort of investiture, but we don't know anything more about it at this point, other than Eshonai seems to have stolen it from Adolin. Alright, Adolin knocks Eshonai and almost himself into the chasm. Hi, Sazeth. Hey, yeah. Adolin's like, yo, Eshonai, 1v1 me, sis. And she's like, alright. And then they do. And then he knocks her. You know, she's kind of basically like barbarian rage right now and not super aware. Although, wait, don't barbarians get a bonus to their dex saves? Or is it only con saves during rage? Maybe it's only con saves. They also get a constitution. Anyway, I'm not gonna. Whatever.
Didn't they change it during 5th edition anyway?
I've only read the first part of classes in 5th edition, which is actually barbarian. Maybe I didn't finish anyway. So yeah, Eshonai dies, and
But if you don't have points in tumble, you don't even get a chance to save from falling damage.
well, if you're a monk, you can reduce the height by 5 feet. All right, so Eshonai, I shouldn't say Eshonai dies because you all know the rule by now. In the Cosmere, everyone's alive until proven dead. He falls off a cliff, big whoop. And Adolin almost falls off the cliff, but two members of Bridge 4, I want to say Drehi and Scar, catch him before he falls over.
You got it.
I didn't even write it down, and there's proof right there. Drehi and Scar catch him before he falls over, and he's like, "You boys need a raise," or he says that later.
Whenever there's like two bridgemen and they're not part of the regular group, it's Drehi and Scar.
And they're not like Moash. If they're not main characters, they're Drehi and Scar. They're like B tier characters.
Yeah, they're those guys in the background.
I won't tell them you said that, Dave. Jeez.
They're you give Sophrena my number while you're over there. So they're they're kind of like Meeker and Snurd from Rugrats. They're like always there in whatever capacity they need like two random people to be doing.
Yeah.
Or like, weren't there? No, I'm sorry. Meeker and Snurd were from Bobby's World. There were like two teenager guys. I forget what were their names. There were like two characters in Rugrats that were also similar, but they were like teenagers. They were kind of like Beavis and Butthead. Oh, I don't remember their names. Meeker and Snurd were from Bobby's World. Why do I remember that?
So tell us more about the chapter, Dave.
Well, Bobby's World is a cartoon created by Howie Mandel.
No.
Oh.
No. Words of Residence.
He you may know is Deal or No Deal. Words of Residence. Oh yeah, my notes live right here. Moash packs a punch into Kaladin's lunchbox. That's pretty good. Gasp, Sophrena. Life before death. The words. Strength before weakness. The more words. Sophrena is not Navi after all. She's Fi.
Yes. Yes, she is.
She's like Navi, but she turns into a sword. I've never played Skyward Sword. Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. If they release it on Switch, maybe I'll stream it. All right,
And
Graves.
hey, how about that? They are releasing it on Switch.
Ah, crap. It's gonna be. I'm
You
only
promised.
upset. I'm only upset because it's gonna cost $60. All right. Graves knows about the diagram. Why would they need to separate Kaladin from Dalinar? Uh-oh.
Well said. Well said.
Why uh-oh? What uh-oh? Tell us the rest.
Who are
That's it.
they?
Dave checked out. He's done. He's playing with his Rubik's Cube on the
Oh.
stream.
Not a Rubik's Cube. It's like a little snack.
Snick. Time for Snick.
So Graves is like in cahoots with the diagram people, I guess, and they need to distract Kaladin from Dalinar. Is that part of it? But anyway,
They needed to keep them separated.
Yeah, like that song by The Offspring, "Pretty Fly for a White Guy." They don't want Kaladin to glow white and fly across the shattered plains to get to Dalinar.
Whoops.
But he figures that all out. He's like, "Oh no, the assassin is back, and I need to save Dalinar." And that's
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. They didn't want this whole situation to happen, so they take actions which directly causes the situation to happen.
that's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. What are you talking about, though? Who are they? Like a Taravangian
Graves and
at all?
Moash.
Graves and
Well, I
Graves
guess
and
yeah, the diagram, because you mentioned they have to keep Kaladin and Dalinar separated, but then they go through this whole thing, and Kaladin gets to say the words. So it's like if they just didn't attack the king, he wouldn't have said the words, and he wouldn't have flew. Wait, hold on. How much do you know? I don't want to spoil anything. Hold on.
Do you ever read the week's chapters so that you at least know? Do you even read like a synopsis of the week's chapters so that you know how far
I do.
I
I
am
have
in the
it
book?
up right here. Okay, we know. I'm good. I'm good. I didn't spoil anything.
I mean, we get to the part where Kaladin returns to the Shattered Plains and fights Szeth next chapter. If
Yeah,
that's
he
what you're
flies.
talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking
he becomes a samurai ninja warrior.
I don't know if Mike is laughing at
Crouching
this or shaking
dragon.
his head.
He's probably
He can
shaking
fight,
his SMH.
He can fly, and he can crow.
Yo, it's Zuko.
Zuko can't fly.
Rufio. Rufio.
That Zuka.
That's Zuko, yeah.
All right.
Yes. Anyway, we have a self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's go on.
The self-fulfilling diagram. All right. Anything else for
Sure.
chapter 84?
Hey, how about Sylphrena?
She's
She's
great.
back in Pog form.
She's back in sword form.
She's back in sword form.
Yeah, and I guess at this point I could have figured out something about Shallan that's going to come up soon anyway. So I'll let you kids at home think about that for a minute. Chapter 85, Swallowed by the Sky. Is Mraize the Wild Wanderer? Is that the mask lady?
No.
That's one of Dart Boy's kids, right?
Marie's boss is Mask Lady.
Yato.
Or Babsk.
Babs.
Mask Lady is Yato, and Mraize works for her. Yes.
Mraize is Dart Boy.
Mraize is Dark
Yeah.
Boy.
Okay, Mraize is Dart Boy. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure you know who the Wanderer is, unless I'm
Is it
misinterpreting.
Kaladin?
No. Who's
Hoid?
the one world hopper that? Yes, there you go. Let's find Hoid. Chapter He's not even trying anymore. Dude, I love that meme you made.
Oh man. I'd put it up on the stream right now so people, maybe I should. Mike can edit it out later.
Clearly, we get more perks. I mean, you could just post the link to it. Oh, there you go.
Craig, if you don't talk during these sections, they get edited out automatically. If you do talk, I have to physically edit it out.
No, Mike, this is for you and your benefit.
It's actually this one though. Here we go. Find Hoid yet again. I think I made this for Mistborn 2, where he just like shows up at that random wedding. Alright. This one's pretty good too. The shards are loaded. The count's 3 shards and 2 anti-shards, and the infield shard rule is in effect, right? Except for the word shard, that was complete gibberish. I kind of want to redo this. I want to make this one so that instead of the New York Yankees logo, it's got the Cosmere Deep Dive podcast logo on her hat.
Right.
I don't want to put that in, but whatever.
Dude, that's so appropriate. Except for the word shard, everything's complete gibberish. It's true.
All right, Mike, you can cut in here. Chapter 85, Swallowed by the Sky. All right, we talked about the epigraph, so let's go on. Aladar 1, get to the round thingy. Hi, Seth. So Aladar, that's the guy that, betrayed Sadius at the end, because he's his own man. He won his front of the war, and now it's like, there you get everybody get everyone to the circle plateau, because that's what's gonna happen, because something's gonna happen. And then Seth shows up. Next scene, Renarin be buggin'. Well, he has occupational epilepsy, if you'll recall, so might be going off right here. Seth taps his steel mines. Because he moves really fast. Scar and Drehi are getting a raise. There it is. Dalinar moves beautifully. Seth's hand is a dangerous weapon. Royal sneak attack of onions. So I think we're remembering how Seth was able to lash people, although the High Princes don't know the terminology, of course, but they remember that Seth was able to do some funky things if you let him touch you. And then Royan sneaks up on Seth as Seth is trying to execute Dalinar here. And then moving on, Royan screamed as the sky swallowed him. I thought that was a pretty good line, so I wrote it down. I really want them to make a Stormlight Warriors game. Oh, dude, all right. So, the Dynasty Warriors games, and then they've got, Fire Emblem Warriors. Dude, what if you had, a Warriors game with all of the characters from Stormlight Archives? You could have Kaladin and Dalinar and Moash and,
That's it. That's all of them.
There's so Shallan. You could have Shallan in there, Yasna, because she's still alive, Navani. Well, if Yasna is...
that is the best idea, though.
If Yasna, hypothetically, if she were actually dead, then they could just do, some kind of time travel thing and bring her back to life, like they always do in Warriors games.
I was going to say, when they die or live does not matter in a Warriors game. But we've already discussed that if there was a Mistborn game, it needs to play like Spider-Man. So clearly, if they make a Stormlight Archives game, it needs to play like a Warriors game.
Yeah,
I'm in.
You could
Brandon, if you're listening, there you go.
You could play as Numuhuku Makiaki Lunamore and mow down hordes and hordes of Parshendi.
It would work so well in that format. It
Yeah.
really would.
No, 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 no.
Well, he can't fight.
Hukumaki Akiai Lunamore sections have to be cooking based.
Oh, he could do like the little. He could be
It's
like
the
do like the
cooking
little mini
mini-games!
games. Yeah, like he's got the
Yeah.
little like fairy mini game or whatever.
I mean,
for cooking.
honestly, he could just be one of the not shopkeepers, but you know how you go into town to improve your weapons and stuff. You have to go and eat certain foods. He could be the
yeah.
the
Well,
one
they
who
do
makes...
have a cooking system in Age of Calamity, right? So he could be.
Yep, they do.
He could be the guy that gives you the food for like the individual level buffs.
And okay, so there's a secret part to his minigame where you have to try to sneak as much chill dung as possible into your recipes without anybody noticing.
That is disgusting, Mike, and we only do that for people we don't like Sadius.
So there's a mini game where you spike Sadius's food, and then your guys get a bonus, or theirs get a debuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be like one of the levels where like, oh, you can't damage the enemy boss, or like you do very minimal damage to them until you find Numuhuku Makiaki.
Until you play this one side game with one unlockable character, and you're like, of course this was required.
Well, I mean, they could
You
put it
have
as
to.
part of
You
the
have to
stage.
escort. You have to escort yeah, I can't say it. The Rock. You have to escort Rock to the enemy base so he can spike their food. That's that's one of the
And that's
stages.
how you
We've got
unlock
this,
it.
you
That's
guys.
how you unlock the cooking vendor in the game. You have to do that. That quest, escort quest.
Okay, this is a fun side tangent, but really, I do like the idea of a warrior style game for Stormlight Archives.
Yeah. The really fascinating.
A lot of the power.
They would have to come up
From
with
what we've
visual
seen of
designs
Zeph,
for everything.
And what he does, I think it could totally I mean, it would just be special moves and attacks, but he could totally pull it off.
Yeah, like
Do some gravity type things.
they don't
Can't really
have.
fly,
They
though.
don't really have visual designs for any of these. Like if you're doing Hyrule Warriors or Fire Emblem Warriors, like you already have a roster of characters with what they look like and everything. So it would be really interesting to see what direction they take the graphics and the character design. If they were to make something like that.
I was gonna say, and this is more of a shout out to the community. There's some really good fan art of like all the various characters that we've been reading about, and we tried to share a couple with you, Dave. But I know you haven't seen as much because we don't want you googling by accident.
All right, Kokomo
Google sensibly.
Koimo Tecmo. You got it. All right, give us the royalties, please. I mean,
So,
Brandon
keep
can
going.
get some. Brandon can have some too. All right. So that was the Warriors game. Next note. Seth commands inanimate objects. How many breaths does he have? Wait. Yeah, so like there's one part where I don't know if it's just because he's lashing an object, so maybe they think that he has command over it, but what if he actually... I wrote that kind of as a joke. I wrote that as a joke, but now I'm like thinking about it.
So go back to the prologue of Way of Kings, and then you can see how lashing works, because he does lash objects, which makes them move. They fall in a different direction, essentially.
Yeah.
And he can also adhesify things.
I guess it's not much of a chance of Seth being a world hopper anyway, because he would like... He barely even acknowledges that the Knights Radiant have returned. If he had like...
Dude, where does he have the time? He's like in his 20s or something.
I don't know. So is Hoyd.
Nah, Hoyd is timeless.
Alright.
No, Hoyd is timely. He had a whole thing about it.
True.
Alright, Seth taps his gold mines, so he heals real fast too. Dalinar falls into the sky. I bet Kaladin shows up to catch him, though. Kaladin shows up to catch him. And that's the end of chapter 85. So yeah, the Royan died. and Dalinar almost died, and Kaladin shows up. That's most of what happened here.
Cool.
All right,
We should move on.
chapter 80. Yeah, we're already been going for like 2 hours. Chapter 86, Patterns of Light. Although, if you're listening from home and you're like, oh, we're not 2 hours into the episode, that just means Mike did a really good job editing it. Thank you, Mike. Chapter 86, Patterns of Light. Kaladin stuff. That's all I wrote for that scene. Okay. What was the pattern? It's a Fabrial, though. Yeah, so Shallan's like, oh, there's 10 slots, there's 10 everything. It's a Fabrial. And I'm like, I don't care. Who cares? Obviously. Like, what does that tell you? But I guess it's like us to figure out to put infused spheres in them or something. I don't know. All right, circle time. Everyone's showing up on the circle.
I mean, that's
Circle
literally what
plateau.
it is. It's a Fabrial. They have to do storm. It needs Stormlight.
Yeah, so I think it's actually okay. It's in the ensuing scene. All right, so circle time. All the people are like, all right, we got to gang up on the circle plateau. Sylphrena's dad is mad. Sky battle. Sylphrena is a shard spear. So yeah, she's not only a shard blade, but she can also change form to be whatever weapon Kaladin wants at whatever moment he wants. So I guess it's just kind of like item quick swapping. Like he just has to menu and switch over to whichever weapon he needs for that particular attack. And
the menu's in his mind.
So it is like Breath of the Wild. He could have tamed that horse. He must have been out of
Well, it's not like Breath of the
Stimela
Wild because Sylphrena doesn't have any durability, so, or she has infinite durability, I should say.
Infinite. Oh yeah. Well, maybe she's
So
like the
she's
Master Sword.
Sword.
So she's fine.
She is.
All right. So back to Shallan. She has to light some spheres, and the Ardents are like, "How are you lighting those spheres?" And she's like, "Oh, no, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you in 10 minutes." Once we get to Urithiru. Seth is sad that he's winning. So there's this whole sky battle going on between Seth and Kaladin. They're above the clouds. Frequently, there are boulders and debris and entire plateaus popping up through the clouds at them. It's a pretty exciting scene. Not going to go into all the details, just the ones that I already went into. And then Pattern does the trick where he unlocks stuff. We've seen this before, but this time he does it in sword form. So it's like, oh, all right. So like, of course Shallan has a shard blade. It's actually Pattern, I guess. So like, and I guess is this how she killed her mom, with Pattern as a shard blade? Is that something that might have happened?
It's something
So if you
that
look
might have
back,
happened, yeah.
Yeah, if you look back, it was definitely a shard blade that killed Mom.
You look at the details of like how she died or whatever.
There's all the hints like of how she was talking, and then the chest is a thing of light as she walks by, which is just a representation in her mind, but still, shard blades glow. Well, at least these types of shard blades glow.
Like the Spren blades.
The ones that are Spren, yeah.
So I wonder if Navani actually had a shard blade as well, because she had a little Spren buddy. But it's also possible that she didn't know its power or wasn't able to use its power, because like Sylphrena was never a shard blade until now.
Not yet. Navani.
Yeah, he means yes.
Navani's daughter, I said.
Yeah, Yasna.
Meant.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's probably how Yasna survived, by having a shard blade. Alright. So they're all fighting in the sky there. Pattern becomes a sword, so I guess that's probably how Shallan killed her mom, with Pattern the sword. And alright, Nexus of Destruction, but the army is AFK, so Kaladin and Seth land on the plateau, and nobody's there. Alright, Urithiru Sheikah Tower is Breath of the Wild. they've got this tower that warps them to another tower. It's just Breath of the Wild. Right, next and the final scene. Kaladin smiles. And Yasna has one more week to make a triumphant return. That's all that Kaladin smiles.
Doesn't smile.
He smiles at the very last sentence of this week's chapters. Kaladin smiles. Also, Seth died or something, released his oath or whatever. I don't know. And Sylphrena seems very heck bent on making sure Kaladin retrieves his shard blade, whatever that's about. I'm guessing that the Spren blades are not quite honor blades. I think there's something different, but I don't know that for certain.
There's a couple of different versions of this scene. There's the original version, and then there was an updated version for newer releases. I'm curious to know which one you have. How exactly did Seth die?
Well, Seth doesn't explicitly die. So Kaladin cuts him in the hand, and he drops the shard blade. I think he drops, and then Seth
honor blade.
The honor blade.
Honor blade.
And Seth like releases his bond, and then begins falling. And then Kaladin goes down the ground, and then Sylphrena's like, "Get the sword, get the sword!" And Kaladin dives down and grabs the sword.
Okay, then you got the updated version.
I would assume so because I have the British version.
In the original version, Kaladin stabs him with a shard blade.
No, he only cut him in the arm.
Yeah, in the updated version, the storm kills Seth.
So can we clear up Dave's misconception about shard blades and honor blades, or are we just gonna leave him in the dark?
Let's wait until the book wrap up because I need to do other things in 35 minutes.
All right, sounds good.
So on that topic, that was the last chapter this week.
What do you think of the chapters, Dave?
They were among my 86 favorite chapters of the book so far.
No, they gotta be top half because Sylphrena's back.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
When we were snickering the whole time when you're like, Sylphrena's dead and she seems more dead than Yasna, that's how we knew. We were laughing.
We were laughing because you sounded so sad about it. Like you really thought she was dead.
I don't tend to show that much emotion.
Like
I don't show that much emotion. I'm surprised you picked up on it.
No, you did seem a little dejected, but we knew this was gonna happen. It's like you just gotta wait a few chapters.
So Frena's dead. This book sucks. I hate this podcast.
we totally had a countdown to when she was coming back because we wanted to see how you would react.
That's why I had to be on. My real reason for wanting to be here this week, I'm recording from a different computer, is because I needed to hear your reaction to Sylphrena being back.
Well, I knew she was alive the whole time.
You were a believer.
But seriously, we're finishing the book next week, and Yasna better make a triumphant return because I gotta sit through like 2 more Mistborn books and a Dune comic book before I get to find out how Yasna returns. I mean, come on.
Well, about that, Dave.
The Dune comic book is after Oathbringer.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one we're not doing in publication order because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. It's part 1 and then Oathbringer and then parts 2 and 3, which is just weird. Considering that like parts 1, 2, and 3 make up a single book. Anyway. No, Yasna's dead forever. Sorry.
Alright.
Spoilers.
Well, if I had to choose between
Sylphrena is back.
Sylphrena. Alright, you can kick me off. I'm gonna leave the stream running and just close chat and all that, and then you
can probably just cut it. I mean, we're not gonna talk too many spoilers.
Yeah. I'll just come back in like half an hour. or something. I don't know. Yeah, well, just
Well,
ping me when it's done,
Yeah,
and I'll shut down OBS.
you know half an hour because Mike has to be gone in half an hour. So.
Okay,
That's true. We
bye.
literally have a time limit at this point. So bye, Dave.
Bye, Dave.
Dave is not gone. He will be gone
Dave's
soon.
not gone yet. Dave's still here. Don't play the thing yet. Okay, Dave claims to be gone. Pretend to play the thing. All right, Craig, Tori, 20 minutes of spoilers, and then I gotta go.
What do you got, Tori?
I did not, in fact, read this week's chapters. So, like, I remember them pretty well, and I did read the Coppermind before we recorded, but I don't have any specific spoilers to point out.
All right, do you have anything, Mike?
No.
All right, here we go.
Go for
So,
it.
chapter 83's epigraph, it mentions about the Spren. Hold on. Obviously, they are fools. The desolation needs no usher. It can sit and will sit where it wishes, and the signs are obvious that the Spren anticipated doing so soon. The Ancient of Stones must finally begin to crack. What the heck does that mean? That's what I wanted to ask. What is the Ancient of Stones? It is a wonder that upon his will rested the prosperity and peace of a world for over 4 millennia. Oh, that's Talon. Okay, that's
Okay.
Talon now. Got it.
Right, because he's a stone ward.
Yeah, he's a stone ward, and
Well,
he
sort of.
he prevented the desolation from happening for 4,000 years.
And isn't he Stone Sinew? Was that him?
Mhm.
Yep, Talonel, blah blah blah,
Like-
stone sinew.
Talonel Ilinalat, stone sinew. Or Talonel
Leave
Ilin,
it to Mike.
or Taln.
So many
Um,
names.
So chapter 84, we have the numbers, and people have figured out what the numbers mean.
Which
Mike,
we looked up
what did
and
the numbers
said
mean?
last week, or not last week, but I guess last week for people listening
Last
to
time
the
we
edited
recorded.
version.
Yeah, it's like a direct translation. It's not dates or anything.
Nope. But it was still mysterious,
It
if I
was.
remember correctly. Like it wasn't a flat out, oh yeah, that's Teravangian is going to become Odium and stuff.
But Dave has picked up on Graves knowing about the diagram. He's actually a member of the diagram, but he's sort of a separate branch from Teravangian. Like he believes there's a different approach to the how the diagram can be resolved.
He's not
Right.
wrong, except that he is extremely wrong in that he provided a catalyst for Kaladin to become more radiant, which
Yep.
saved Dalinar.
I mean that's what I was saying to Dave, and Dave was like, "Wait, are you trying to spoil something?" But no, it is that self-fulfilling prophecy that we were talking about. If they didn't attack Elokar, like Kaladin would have just been moping, during the riddens or whatever, back at base.
And this is the scene that Moash learned how they should go about ending Kaladin, that he tries to make use of in Rhythm of War, but nobody listens to him.
My gosh. Moash. This isn't quite the beginning of the hatred for Moash. Like, we don't like him at this point, but I think the hatred pops up in the next book because he does the thing. I really hope Dave never listens to this when he kills Elokar.
But yeah, Moash's whole thing with Kaladin is don't give that guy someone to fight. If he has an external enemy, then he can focus on that.
Mm.
Let him get all up in his own head.
Mm.
Kaladin is his own worst enemy.
Moash really does know how to break Kaladin. He is the big bad. Like, he is Kaladin's big bad. Well, Kaladin himself is his own big. Moash is trying to harness that. Like, Moash is really the opposite of Kaladin, and I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the two, but they're supposed to be like, this is what happens if you go in two different directions. Like, Kaladin embraces his connections, and Moash sort of throws them away. And you could see that, like, Moash is a loner. Like, he starts forming a connection with the singers that he hangs out with, but he still, whenever I view Moash, especially like in Rhythm of War, he's a loner to me. Like, he is alone in many ways. He never has a team of people. You look at Kaladin, he always has a friend and support group with him. Whether he accepts it or not is a different story, and sometimes Kaladin pushes them away, but when he really accepts the people around him, that's when Kaladin is the strongest. Yes, Moash and Kaladin are rivals. Yes. In chapter 85, I mentioned the Wanderer, who I believe is Hoyt, but could that be wrong?
I don't know.
Who is the Wanderer, the wild piece, the one who makes no sense? I glimpse at his implications, and the world opens to me. I shy back. Impossible, is it? Which, by the way, now that Taravangian is holding, a shard, it might not be so impossible anymore for him to think about. Something to consider. Because, like, we're reading this episode, like, this is from the diagram, the book's diagram. And this is old Taravangian, who sort of got a glimpse into the spiritual realm and was able to, like, predict things. We have a new Taravangian who can always do a little bit of future looking. It's sort of scary what he's going to be capable of. Yeah, we don't want to talk about this in his chat, Omni. Talk about it in the spoiler discussion, just in case, because he can read his chat, and we're sort of trying to avoid that here. Like, I did sort of see that you posted something about book 5. So to restate for our listeners here, one of our listeners has a theory that Dalinar will take up Honor and Odium's shard to become essentially the combination of the two, which would be like War, because we have Warlight when we combine the two. But so I guess that is one theory that some people have, that Dalinar will eventually take up both shards. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, now that I feel like Taravangian has picked up Odium's shard, I feel like that's what we have right now. Like, Dalinar is going to reunite the Honor shard. I believe that's what's going to happen, but I don't think he's going to pick up Odium shard. I don't know what you guys think of that.
I think it would be bad for Dalinar to be War, like, at this point in his life and his level of maturity. Like, he could have pulled off the literal warlord thing in his youth when he was the Blackthorn, but now that he has come to terms with his past and the events at the end of Oathbringer, like, I don't see him as War.
So,
and I don't see Taravangian losing the Odium shard this quickly. He just got it. We need more than a book to explore that.
So Omni's theory, though, is that Taravangian will succeed in beating Dalinar, and he either will reforge the Honor Shard, or Dalinar's successful in that, and he'll pick up the Honor Shard. And Taravangian will then hold 2 shards, which could be interesting. I don't know if that's the path that Brandon would take. But everything's thrown out because I didn't expect Race to die at the end of Rhythm of War. Like I wasn't expecting it at all. I thought that would be the end of book 5. So I don't even know anymore. I don't know
Like, we
how
didn't
book
even
5 is
get.
going to end.
We barely even met the guy, and now he's gone.
Like what we get in book 5 is we know they have a week before their contest of champions is going to happen. Like book 5 is going to be that week span. Like this is crazy. And we know there's going to be some adventure over in Shinovar because Dalinar sent Seth, or he accepted that Seth had a mission there or something like that. I have to reread Rhythm of War now. So we know there's going to be some Shinovar stuff, which makes sense since book 5 is supposed to be Zeth's backstory one. Who knows, man? Who knows? But I think there's some potential in Taravangian picking up the Honor Shard. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, though. I don't know if that's the direction it'll take, but I think your guess is as good as ours at this point.
What if the Contest of Champions is a series of board games, a la Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
I just rewatched that. I knew what you were talking about. Dude, that movie might be bad, but I enjoy it, and I don't care if it has a low rating on Rotten Tomatoes because I have fond memories of watching it as a kid.
It's
It is
not bad.
really
It's
weird
quite
movie,
good.
though.
They just decided to go in a different direction than most people expected them to, and it was the right choice.
Speaking of self-fulfilling prophecies, that whole movie, the bad dude's like, I want to, kill Bill and Ted, and he's the one who makes them get better at music, forming the band who, Death is a part of, and bringing about world peace. Like, he brought this to himself. Self-fulfilling prophecies, as we are learning, are bad. Well, they happen, so don't try to prevent it. Just don't. I don't think I really have much else in spoilers. We talked about Graves. The Shard Blades. Tori with her deflection there of, hey, was Pattern the one who was used against Shallan's mom? No, it's actually her first Shard Blade testament. Pattern
Dave,
testament.
and Dave's over here like, is that a thing that could have happened? And I'm like, yes, that's a thing that might have happened.
Yep. I don't.
Which is
So
technically true. It might have happened.
we can decide how we want to talk about this, but I feel like Dave is confused about the difference between Honor Blade and Shard Blades. And I feel like at this point, he should understand the difference between the two, or at least by the end of the book. But
the big fight
if not, we don't have to
between-
talk about it.
The big fight between Kaladin and Zeth is supposed to be Honor Blades are a thing. This is how they work.
Yep.
And they're different from Shard Blades. And now
Right.
you know that. And we can discuss
Yeah.
that during the book overview.
Okay, that's fine.
But yes.
All right, well, that's all I had for this week.
That should be something that Dave knows now.
Yeah, so we can actually break it apart. So next week, we are finishing the book, and then we're going to have another episode where we do the overall book thing, which means hopefully Dave can, get some thoughts and theories, and we can look back at his old theories and poke fun at them. Did he make them for Way of Kings, for Words of Radiance?
I don't know. But we should also have, overall book ratings ready to go for that one.
Overall book ratings?
Yeah.
Like all of us rating our books.
The books that we've read in the in order. Like, what do we like most? What do we like least?
For the ones that we've already discussed. I don't remember us doing that before.
We're just going to update it, slotting in this book, basically.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Remember that list you made, Craig? That you definitely still have?
Sure.
Just update it.
Oh, okay. We'll do.
Okay.
We'll talk about that next week. How about that?
Won't it be fun if you do it all over again from scratch and we go back and listen and find that it's wildly different from your first ratings?
All right, spoiler alert, Tori. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
I don't think I have mine written down anywhere either, so I'm just going to do mine from scratch.
You know, it's funny. I do have notes that I take about things I want to discuss. That's not one of them. I talk about spoiler stuff and some theory, like things I want to discuss on the show, and cast lists. That's it.
All right. Well, I have to go. So.
Yep.
Bye,
I've
everybody.
been trying to say
Okay.
I'm done.
Good night, Internet.
Bye.
And now we save project as whatever episode this is, 146.
All right, guys. I will talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Saves in 5 seconds.
See you
instead
later.
of in 5.
Say hi to the in-laws. Oh, he gone.
And I have to go, so you guys can enjoy Tori time. Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye. I don't know that I have anything for Tori time. Do you guys have any requests? Okay. Well, no Tori time today. Alrighty. I'll see you guys next time. Or hear you guys next time. Or you guys will hear me next time. However it works. Whatever. Next time. Okay, bye.